Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. I got an unexpected email a day or two ago that said the person that I had sold one of those guitars that came back from my stolen project guitar pile said he was finished. And he was the first one to finish. The other one's like really close. It just ended up needing more work than we even expected. So the tale that we get to share today is the fate of the second Uncle Milty Les Paul custom project. This was that 1974-ish Les Paul. It was initially a cherry sunburst color, and we were gonna make it look like this one right here. But unfortunately that didn't end up working out. So this will just kind of be a quick video. So once again, the before, we still had a little bit of red cherry stain right here. Most of the yellow was gone, you had some right here, but some interesting wood grain going on. The face of the headstock, somebody must have put some sort of a locking nut system on here, despite it never having a caler or anything. It was missing a nut. The frets were in okay shape. A level recrown job was likely required. And there was tons of sanding marks left on this guy, so it needed a lot of work to get back to 100% functional. And definitely even to be ready for a finish, as well as all the parts put back on. But as far as specs go, it looks like a 3-piece maple top here, which is standard for the era, and then the whole back was just, still pretty much cherry because that stain really sunk into the mahogany neck. Now thankfully the serial number was still there, a little bit hard to read though, but there were definitely no breaks, cracks, or repairs to this 3-piece mahogany neck. And the back had somebody's license plate number scratched into it, and a bunch of other wear and tear, as well as the laid out Uncle Milty specs. So I boxed this thing up, I think about 2 months ago. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. I sent that out mid-March, and here we are at the end of May. It's already done. But here's kind of the cool thing. It went off to London. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the before pictures because it was bought on eBay, and eBay doesn't keep track of transactions that were many, many years ago. I think they limit you to 2. But on top of this husk, he also purchased a bunch of other era-correct parts. A Les Paul custom truss rod cover, that was the original. And I think one of these pickups was original, the other one was just era-correct. It's what I had sitting around. Yeah, this one was original, and this one's an era-correct piece. Either that or it was transitional, because it's around 75-ish when they start bringing those into play. But without any further ado, let's see what he did. Keep in mind though, this was his first restoration job on a guitar. He daylights as a stop-motion sculptor. So first things first, he sanded to get rid of all the red finish that was still on it and got rid of all those pesky sanding marks. And I've got to say, that turned out pretty good. That red stain can sometimes be pretty hard to get out. But that really brought out the wood grain here. That's looking good. And he said he purposefully left the red staining on the inside just so if somebody were to buy this in the future after he sells it, if he does sell it, that it wouldn't be hard for them to tell that it's been a refinished guitar. The back came out pretty good too. It looks like we still have maybe a little bit of red staining here, but sometimes you can only get so much out. But thankfully he got rid of all that Uncle Milty stuff. It doesn't still say UM. That was actually penciled in pretty deeply, so that's good that he got that out. But then lockdown happened, so he couldn't really do his restoration as quickly as he wanted to. I mean, 2 months is still ridiculously good turnaround time as compared to what I'm used to. So we decided he would just string it up as is to see if he even liked the guitar and kind of get some ideas of where he wanted to go from here. So thankfully, he said he fell in love with the thing right away, but he decided to leave it this bare natural just to play it a little bit longer because it reminded him of Mick Ronson's Les Paul Custom from the late 60s. But he decided that he ultimately wanted to make this a black Les Paul Custom. And since once again he works as a model maker for stop motion animation, he had access to all these different spray booths, so he decided he would go ahead and attempt this refin himself, even though when he bought it he wasn't sure if he was going to do it or have someone else do it. But even just as natural, it looks like he put some brand new Grovers on here though. But that looks pretty okay. Maybe just put a finish on the back, you could have a natural top one. Man, that really is a good beauty shot right here. But once he had enough of that, he decided to take all that stuff off again and really get down to the nitty gritty. So this is where he started sanding again with various grades of wet and dry sandpaper, and then ended up sealing it all in shellac, and then he sanded that down as well. The only error that he feels he made here is he didn't use enough pore filler, because he underestimated how much the grain of the wood would absorb the paint. But since he kind of liked the vintage appearance of the guitar due to some of that dipping, he decided to leave some areas like that. And it looks like he painted it all black here. You can see some of the binding got covered. Don't worry, that gets scraped off later. It It looks like he has a pretty decent little shooting booth right there, so it's a good thing he tried this himself. It might inspire him to do some other refin projects. Yeah, I'm definitely seeing what he's talking about, how it's not, 100% flush. But then he told me after some more wet sanding and stuff, he was able to get some more of that out and to make it look like a cleaner finish. I've got to say, this turned out pretty good, especially once he throws everything on there. The fact that he used the tinted ambered lacquer, like it's not over the top aged, like where you can tell it's like a fake relic job. It's just enough that this looks like, natural wear and tear to the finish because it matches the wear of the Era Correct pickups. It's just slightly yellowed and it matches with those witch hat knobs right here. That's a nice touch. Got your ABR1 bridge and all that going on. I'm happy to see that this thing at least has a finish again. It is in a loving home. It doesn't sound like he bought this to refinish it and then flip it, but it sounds like this might have sparked his interest in doing more projects like these. This was a great learning experience for him. And I've got to say, that turned out pretty good. He's got some nice scenery back here. The way that it reflects the light, it's kind of like a vintage original spec finish. Like it's not super crazily highly glossed over, but it still has some glossiness to it, like a freshly cleaned vintage guitar. So I was super impressed when he sent me these photos. That's why I asked him for like some behind the scenes stuff. So he sent me what he had, but from this to that, man, he saved that guitar and undid my sins that I had done to this one. So great job on this restoration, man. And I hope you guys enjoyed going through this project with me. If you guys like this video, we can do this for the other projects if and when they do get completed. Because out of all the project guitars I've sent out, this is the only one that I've seen in a completed state. And I think that second Les Paul Custom we'll also see eventually on here. But we can only hope for the butchered Les Paul Special from a couple of years ago, or the hornless SG, or any of those other weirdos. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.